This is great to see everyone today and to hear all the different places that people are coming from. I love this technology. It's just so amazing that we can really connect in this way. We're using Adobe Connect, and that's a great type of software for meetings. We used it for Change the World just in May, and through this technology, we also connected with people around the world. We had a day long of interviews, starting with Japan. And basically, I gave everybody logins that I wanted to interview for that day, and they logged into their computers, and I did face-to-face interviews through the computer. And then we were able to videotape them or record them so that we could play them back later. And I mean, it was just so amazing to be able to see people around the world and hear what they were all doing in a unified purpose. So anyway, I'm a real big fan of Adobe Connect. I know there's all sorts of other technologies out there too, Skype and different meeting software, but Adobe Connect is it for me. We've got just a couple more minutes before we're going to get started here. And I just want to make sure that you all know that you can contact me after this session. I'll be giving you my email address, and so if you have questions about how to apply these techniques specifically to your church, you can feel free to email me and I'll work with you. You know, these multimedia bundles are a new thing for UMCOM to produce, and so along the way as you use them, we really appreciate your feedback. If you would be willing to share with us what really worked for you, what didn't work so great for you, it'll help inform future projects. Paula is saying that she's never been at a webinar before, so welcome. Yeah. Sermon ideas, that's great, with good short videos. I think that's something that a lot of local churches are looking for these days because so many have got the new technology set up in sanctuaries where they can show multimedia, and then it's just a matter of where do you go for United Methodist resources for that. Okay, so it's 10 a.m. I'm going to go ahead and get started. And what you see on your screen is a fresh start, and that is the name of our latest multimedia bundle. And I would like to introduce myself to you because I'm going to be hosting this webinar for you this morning. We've got about 30 minutes together, and then after that 30 minutes together, if you want to email me, you can feel free to. My email address is on the screen right now, so be sure to write that down. I'm also recording this webinar so that we can play it back for other people who are not able to use it at this time. You'll see a chat box, so feel free to type questions and that sort of thing along the way, and I'll address them. Also notice that the free download screen offers 2 files, and so you can feel free to download both of those. The first one is how to use a Rethink Church multimedia bundle, and that's just a short PDF. The second file is actually the sermon series, A Fresh Start. So that also is a free PDF, and you can go ahead and download that and be looking at it as you make decisions about whether to purchase the multimedia bundle. So, what is a fresh start? What you see on your screen right now is just a series of words, and they are all words that are used in the series. If you think about back to school time, you think that in a way it's kind of like a mini New Year because people start thinking about what they're going to do to achieve differently in the fall. If you've got children, you know that a child can get excited thinking about how they're starting fresh. They don't have last year's grades to worry about, and maybe this year they can even be an A student. You just never know. And so as adults, we look at that kind of premise as well, and we see in the stores the back to school supplies and all of those things, and think about, I remember starting again, you know, and each year being different. And as adults, and even beyond age, as human beings, we want to know that there always is a chance for a fresh start. And we know as Christians that with Christ, that is the way, that God's mercies are new each day, and that we can start again. We're informed by the past, but the the future is something yet to unfold, and with God's mercies, it can be a really wonderful new way of living and life. So a fresh start goes week by week, and it's a 4-week series. It's a free download. As I said before, you can download it now, or you can download it from the site after this webinar. But the 4-week series has quite a bit to it. You've got Old Testament scriptures and New Testament scriptures. You've got points to consider as you develop your sermon. You've got 2 sections on preparation to prepare the laity, because the laity is a group that really needs to be cultivated in terms of just tapping into the many gifts that they have and how they can use them for the good of the church. You've got also notes about preparing the setting. For those of you who are visual learners, you know that this is just something that it makes such a difference when somebody is speaking and you've got something visual right there in front of you that illustrates the point. So there's tips on preparing the setting as well. With this sermon series, our sermon starter series, there's also some new resources, because we've had pastors ask for things like an opening prayer, a responsive reading, a benediction, and so we've included that in the new bundle. There's also a social media section, and this is something that is really important. You all are on this webinar right now because you've got the technology that it took to get online and engage me in this way. For the majority of the U.S., people are online every day, and so we want to make sure as a church that we're providing them with things that feed their souls. We know that there's plenty of things out there that can take away that light, just diminish the light in the world, and so we want to offer things that will pull people in and lift them up for the kingdom of God. So there's social media options in this series. Now, we have written different things for you to take into consideration to write on your Facebook page and your Twitter account, but feel free to make them your own. One of the greatest things that we can do is be authentic with people, and so don't just simply type these different messages out there if they're not authentic for who you are, your local church is, and who the community is that you're trying to reach. Also make sure that what you put out there is tied back to your website and tied back to your Facebook page, because otherwise they can just seem pretty random. I didn't realize. Here we go. So there I am. I don't think I was sharing my face, not that you need to see it, but anyway, so you'll see those social media tips in there. There's also sermon responses, and this is one thing that really it really shows the reason why Rethink Church sermon series are out there to begin with. What sets a Rethink Church sermon series apart is that it's not only something to use on Sunday morning for worship development, it's something for you to use throughout the week. So if there's a message that's taught on Sunday morning, you also have challenges for living that message through the week. And that is so important, because the whole theme of Rethink Church is to illustrate that church is not simply a building to go to on Sunday morning. It's you and me as the church and the way that we live our lives 24/7. There is going to be advertising that is going to run around the back to school time, and it's going to be national advertising that will be digital and radio. So you can look forward to tying into that as well. Okay, So, yes, you see video now. Okay, we're going to move on here. And speaking of video, what I want to do is share with you what we call a promotional video. And the promotional video is something that you can take and use on your church website, on your Facebook page, on your YouTube channel. You can use it to attract visitors to visit your church during this series. So anyway, we always include a promotional video with any of these packages. So what I'm going to do now is show you the video that is part of the multimedia bundle, and so you can watch this now.
This was an extreme need. 60% of the children in our community are below the poverty level. Allegheny County, in which we live, is the poorest county in New York State.
This United Methodist minister left his African home to help his people.
I'm here to study agriculture and theology and take the knowledge back and train my people. I don't have money to buy rice for everybody, but I can teach the knowledge so that they can put into practice and raise the food for themselves.
There's a lot of bad stuff going on, and there's a lot of mean stuff going on. They can rise above it, and I think I can help them rise above it.
We offer consistent love no matter where the kids are from or what's going on in their lives. There are always people here that will love them and care for them.
Oh, okay, here we go. And I noticed that Jean Davis had raised her hand during that video. Were you able to see it? If you can just type in the chat area to let me know. I love that video. And the reason why I do is because I feel like so many times we can just be inspired by listening to how people are living the faith in their lives. And with the Rethink Church promotional video, it gives you a glimpse. Okay, so Michael said it was a bit jumpy, but you got to watch it earlier. Anybody else have any comments about the video? You can always go back and play it on the website itself, and I'll give you that link in just a few minutes. But when you look at these videos, though, you just can't help but be inspired at the ways that God is working through these different people. And so what happens is you get this promotional video that you can play on your church website, but then in addition on the multimedia bundle, which is $25, is very reasonable for the amount of work that you get on this. You get the promotional video and you get 4 full videos that are about 3 minutes each. And each of those videos are the full stories of the glimpses that you just saw. So I hope that that's helpful. You can play those full 3-minute pieces in your worship service. I think, let's see, who was it that had said earlier that she was looking for that kind of thing? You know, strong, I think it was Paula who had said earlier that she was looking for strong videos to be able to show. And these are videos that are short enough to be able to play in the sanctuary as a lead-in before your sermon. They are also great to play in a small group setting. So if you chose not to do this as a sermon series, you could do it just in a small group setting, and you could have a laptop and you could play it there around a table. You could use a projector, and with the DVD that we send for $25, you get this DVD that is it's also you can play it back on your TV DVD combo. So if you've got one of those in your church, you can play the videos there as well. Okay, so David is asking a question. Do you know if we are able to add a trailer to the video with the name of our church? You know what you can do, David? When you purchase this, we want you to use it and make it your own. What I would do if I were you is that I would take this into Windows Movie Maker, and I would just import the Windows media file into Windows Movie Maker, and then just add a title slide or a credit slide at the end. Windows Movie Maker is so easy to use. You could easily customize that. Okay, yeah. Yeah, iMovie on Macs. Okay, see, this is great because y'all are helping each other out too. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go through some of the different print materials that are included in the bundle, and we're going to talk about how they can be used. And I know that so many churches are in a position where they cannot afford to purchase high-quality color copies. Maybe you've got a good color copier in your church and you're used to doing that, so you can do that with these. We also offer some of these in black and white options, which you could just print them in grayscale anyway. But I'm also going to talk with you about how to maximize these graphics for use in the e-world. Okay, so what you're seeing right now is a bulletin cover, and it's thematic with the back to school period, but this is a customizable graphic. And one thing that we've improved upon is that you don't have to have Adobe Photoshop to edit these files. We also include Microsoft Word files, and it's just so easy. You can just open them up in Word, and there's text boxes where you can type and customize with your church's information and then just print it out on your own printer. So this is a bulletin cover. If you were printing it like for the whole 4-week series, we've kind of moved towards just having one bulletin cover option, because then you can get a volume printing discount at your local printer if you chose to have these be the bulletin cover. Another option, though, is to go ahead and customize this and then use it in an email. It's a JPEG image, or you can save it out as a JPEG image, and then you can just put it in your church email blast to let people know that something new is happening. You can post it on your church Facebook page. You could even do something like have it as your Facebook icon, your Facebook profile photo. That's the word I was looking for. So you can do that sort of thing. Let's see. Yes, and Sheila was asking about the bulletin cover is the only notebook, right? Not all the white space, and she's right. It's just the image that you see in the center of your screen that is the bulletin cover. Okay, and you can also add your church's logo. You can add other stuff as well on here. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next group of images, and these are all images to use in a multimedia setting. If you've got scriptures, lyrics, text to share, the top left corner is the title slide, but then you also get these other two thematic types of slides as well that you can type over. So you've got the bulletin board background, and then you've also got that notebook page kind of background, and you can use those however you like in a multimedia setting. Now again, you can take these same images and you can use them perhaps to create a poster Many of you are probably thinking if you're going to do a series like this, you want to let your church know about it. So you could type up your own information about when your series starts, and you could add it to either of those bottom images and just have that be the background, and then print it out in color, print 10 copies, post it around your church. I would also encourage you never to just market or share ideas with your local church. Remember, we are the church for the world. John Wesley said, "The world is my parish," and we need to really remember that as we seek to grow vital congregations. So if you create a poster, take it and post it at your local Starbucks, any coffee shop that has got a bulletin board for local postings. You can do that. I think that people are more amenable to coming to church when they know what's going to be talked about, and some of the text that's used in this series is meant to reach out to people who may have not been in church for a long time, but who are interested in getting involved again. So a series might be easier for somebody to walk into than not knowing what's going to be preached about that Sunday. Okay, I'm going to go on. Scotty Sullivan is typing, and so I look forward to hearing your comment or question. I'm going to move on because this package has got several different print items. And Scotty, I'll stop when I see your question pop up. But what you're seeing before you now are 3 separate JPEG images. They're also available in Word and Photoshop on this DVD. And this is a door hanger. And it's meant to provide the person with a calendar where you can circle electronically the date that your program starts. Okay, let's see. People are hungry for truth, so the idea to share what the message for the day will be is very good. Oh, thank you, Scotty. I appreciate that. People are hungry for the truth. And, just like... if you think about in the scriptures where Jesus was walking along and people asked questions that came from their heart, those are the questions that Jesus answered. And today people have questions on their hearts, but they might not feel like they've got a place to ask them. They might feel like, if I go into church and ask a question, are people going to think I'm stupid or without faith or what? I mean, I've got a friend who quit going to church because she was put down for not having the biblical knowledge that she needed. And she just said, I'm not going to deal with it. So she quit going. We deal with a lot of people like that in the world today who have taken a holistic image of church from a glimpse of the church that they saw in 1 or 2 people. So we've just got to be aware of that. Okay, now Michael is saying to use a bright highlighter to mark the dates on the calendar door hangers, and that's a great idea. We've got 2, August and September, because we weren't sure when the churches would want to do a back-to-school season, so we just provided both. For some people, they're going to want to start Labor Day weekend. For some, it may be if school starts the Monday after Labor Day. For some, they might want to push it a little bit further out, or they might want to start it in August. But with these calendars, you can take it, and if you've got Photoshop, you can definitely create a little red circle around the date that your series starts. You could also do something like that, I'm sure, in Word. And then the back of it needs to be customized as well with your date and your church information on it. One thing before I get to Sheila's question is down there at the bottom it says, learn to see life as a classroom for the soul. Rethink Church. That is one of the messages that's going to be out in the national advertising, kind of exemplifying in the back-to-school season. Church is a classroom for the soul, a place where you can take those confusing messages of life and make sense of it in a way that really feeds you. So Sheila's asking about the best way to print the door hangers, and there's a few different ways. I've seen some people who will print them back to back, who will make an 8.5 by 11 document and just lay them out where they're going to print X amount of front pages and then run that same paper through and print the back sides, and then you just chop it and cut. I've seen other people who will take it and make it so that it's a fold over, so that you can fold the paper and tape it together. That's if you've got a real shoestring budget. And David, I'll get to your question in just a second. But I mean, the optimal way would be for you to go to your local printer and say, I need X amount of these door hangers. Here's the artwork. Here's my customized file. How much will you charge to print it? That's going to be the simplest way. Whether your budget can afford it or not will be something that only your church can decide. Now, David, you're asking a question about if it runs into September from August. I think when we had the idea for this calendar, it was like a start date to the series. If you look at the back text, it says a fresh start begins. Like you would type in your actual start date there at the top, have that on the front calendar, and then as they flip it over, it says a fresh start begins. It's a 4-week series for all ages that will leave you feeling connected and inspired. So it was meant more to be a start date than a complete calendar of your events. So I hope that's helpful. Okay, we're going to go on to the next one. Direct mail is something that some people have budgets for, other people do not. This page and the next page that you're about to see, this is the front of the direct mail, and then we've also got a back piece to the direct mail. This could also be used. You could print it in-house and you could have them inserted into your bulletin and ask people to give them away to somebody, or leave them in places that other people will see. Like if they take it to their favorite coffee shop, you could really maximize the participation of laity by having them distribute these things to all of their favorite places. So I think this message resonates with a lot of people. I think I talked with somebody the other day at my church that said that he just wished that he could go back and start over with the wisdom that he has now. We all know we can't get the wisdom without the experience, but I think it resonates that people do wish that they could wipe the slate clean and start over. On the back side of this piece is the different ways that people can start over, through the church. And one thing that you'll see is that on the back of this customizable piece, you can invite people to several different options. I think that if we only invite people to a worship service, we fail to show them the fullness of church life. And so perhaps your local church is already providing something for back to school with a big celebration or cookout. You want to invite the community to that. Or think about if you are having some kind of mission experience, you might want to include that. Because certainly people in a community are willing to give of themselves. They might come to your church to help with some kind of mission fair or something, some kind of back to school supply drive, and they may meet someone there who says, why don't you come to church tomorrow? You can sit by me. And it's going to be a much easier way for them to enter worship having already met someone. This is fully customizable in Word and in Photoshop, so you can really take this and type in your own information. There's a place there to type the beginning date of your series, other customizable information, small groups. If you've got small groups, I know that this is also a period in the church life where people sign up for small groups and new Bible studies. Don't just limit your invitation to those people already in the walls of your church. Invite your community. You really might have somebody who would participate in one of your small groups that, again, might then come to worship and become a fuller part of the series. I see a couple of, and I said series, I mean the fuller part of the church life. Yeah, it is neat because you can take You can also take this text and you can use this in emails. Think about what if you created a church email to your whole church body, you sent it out, and you asked them to simply forward it to a friend. People do email forwarding all the time, and some of these emails are worth reading, some are not, but what if your church created something that had the specific goal of people forwarding it to others to lift them up and to invite them to some kind of gathering at your local church? I see Michael Smith is typing a question, so as soon as you get that out there, yeah, personal invitation is it. I think we have just wanted to delegate our responsibility in so many ways to the pastor or to the evangelism committee, and we've not wanted to take it on ourselves. It's really our personal discipleship, our personal ministry, the priesthood of believers, to take that and invite people. Now, this next piece is a smaller piece that you can print out that is an invitation card, and if you look at it, the left image is the front side of the card, and then the image to the right is the inside of the card, and it's small. You fold it over, and it's about the size of a business card. And so this is perfect because then, with the direct mail, women or men who use bags, they might stick those into their bags. With this, if you're just simply carrying a wallet, you could have a stack of these, and maybe somebody in your church would even agree to fund printing these at a local printer just so that you get them out there. But I'll tell you, you just never know who is waiting for a word of hope. It may be the person at your local grocery store who has been treated just like a lifeless object all day, ringing up your groceries, who, when you notice that person and you ask them how they're doing, maybe you find out something, that maybe they're an immigrant and they don't have a community. That's happened to me recently, where I've met someone and I've invited him to my church this Saturday night, and he's just really wanting a community, a faith community, but didn't know where to start because he's from another country. So these invitation cards are easy to carry, and they're easy to just give someone to invite them to your church. Okay, we're getting down to the very end of this. It is 10:30 now. I've got just wanted to point you to this website, which, if you want to follow up, you can go to umcom.org/afreshstart. And I'm sorry that doesn't show up there on that URL that is captured, but it's umcom.org/afreshstart, and from there you can download the free Sermon Starter series that's been available as a free download in this webinar, and then you can also click to order the multimedia resource, which is $25. We're working on having it downloadable, but we're not at that place right yet. For Advent, we're going to have that available, so or at least we're working on that, to have pieces downloadable, so you don't have to wait to get a disc. And it seemed like there was something else I was going to share with you. I can't remember it now, but anyway, we're working on that aspect of it. For now, you can order the multimedia resource for $25, and you'll get a disc in the mail that you can then use as much as you want. Okay? We've created this for the local church. So if it is something, if you have, oh, there's the link. If you have use for it in any particular way, and you're thinking, how can, is it appropriate for me to use this piece in this way? My answer is that if it's going to benefit the kingdom of God, if you're going to be able to engage new people, and the people that are currently in your community, use it. Don't worry about the expression of it. Go ahead and let God's creativity work through you so that these pieces can become your own and authentic and real in your community, and that they can help others. Are there any last questions before I sign off? It's been great to be able to connect with you all. And I think that, I do want you to email me. I love it when we get different ideas from churches who have taken these ideas and let them spin off into their own. So it's always exciting to me to see that happen. And we're also working on getting a section set up for pastors to be able to share what they've done with these series so that you all can communicate with each other and learn from each other. So thank you all so much. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off. And just let me know if I can be of further help to you. All of the staff here at Rethink Church at United Methodist Communications are really eager to help you. So don't hesitate to call us. Thank you.